friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. Today we are going to start our journey into Asian cuisine together. Now, I'm a Southern girl. I can cook many things. Who can fry some chicken is me. Who can make some greens is this girl right here. But those are special time foods for me. My day-to-day eating primarily consists of Korean dishes, Japanese dishes. I've learned a few Chinese dishes and techniques. I love Filipino food quite a bit. There's some Vietnamese dishes I've gotten really good at, just in general across the eastern part of the world. Reason being is I have a few digestive issues. We'll just leave it there. And over time, I've tried to discover foods that were easier for me to eat. In a lot of Asian cuisine, there's more fermented foods. The methods of cooking break them down better, and it just works for me. And also, I'll take any excuse I can to eat good food and make good food. So I want to share my love of food with you. No better way to experience a culture than through food. It brings us together. We all eat. We have to eat. Let's share food together. Now, I'm not going to be sharing my recipes outside of my otaku-ness on this channel, but if you can hunt down my personal Instagram and Facebook, I will share those recipes there for the public. When I started learning to cook a lot of these foods, it was pretty intimidating. The flavors are really complex. There's a lot of building. You've got to have the salty, the sweet, the sour, the umami, and I'm missing a flavor. Don't at me in the comments. How do you make these flavors happen? And I learned that a lot of that was just having the right ingredients and using them in the right amounts. So rather than dive into recipes, I thought I'd make a series first on what you need in your kitchen to make these dishes. Now, to be fair, I'm going to go through quite a few sauces today. I did not buy them all at once, and I'm not asking you to go out and buy them all at once. I collected things over time while I was trying to learn to make these things. And I've experimented with brands. You know, there are some brands I love and others I'll never buy again. I'm not gonna mention those. And the ones I do mention, well, hashtag not sponsored. So I'm just gonna take you through ones that I know are staples in my pantry. If you've got any to add, feel free to do so in the comments. Okay, so let's get started. The most basic of sauces you need in an Asian-inspired pantry, soy sauce. I'm going to show you 3 today that I use. The different soy sauces are formulated in different parts of the world, and they pair well with the cuisines they were designed for. So if you're making Japanese food, I would highly recommend using a Japanese soy sauce. If you're making a Korean dish, I would highly recommend Korean soy sauce. And don't get tricked into buying those itty bitty bottles. No. You buy the big bottles because they'll last you longer and it's a better deal. So 3 soy sauces I want to show you today. Again, not sponsored, but these are my faves. If I am cooking Japanese food, this is the brand I go for. It's delicious. It's called, my light is just making this impossible to read. This is Yamasa soy sauce. I stumbled upon this one day. The brand I had been using was out at the store, and I liked the design on that bottle, so I picked it up. True story. And it turned out to be scrumptious. Do you hear my doggy whining in the back? It's raining and he can't go outside. He's mad. We can't walk in thunderstorms. I'm sorry, baby. You want to see him? Say hi, Sammy. Say hi. Maybe he just wanted to be in the video. That's what I use for Japanese cooking. If I am making Korean food, I go for a kelp-based soy sauce. This particular one is called Asi, and I absolutely love it. It's brewed with kelp, with the soy. A lot of Korean cooking involves a broth base if you're doing a stew or a soup, and it's typically kelp and anchovy-based broth, maybe onion, other things, but there's gonna be kelp and anchovy in there. Just make peace with that. This enhances those flavors very nicely, so it pairs well. And I'll use it to mix dipping sauces a lot as well, even if it's for Japanese food, because if I'm mixing different sauces together to say dip dumplings in or gimbap, I've made sushi, this one works really well for that. But there's one here in the middle that I haven't talked about. And I bought this purely on accident. During all the things that are going on in the world, my favorite Japanese soy sauce ran out at the store. And I was mad. But I decided, I'll just get another Japanese brand. And I didn't read the bottle closely enough, and I picked up this. Now, if you look carefully, over here, it's got some extra words on there. This is seasoning soy sauce. It is very strong. It is not one you just dip your sushi into. It packs a punch. So if you've made, say, a really good stock or broth and it's at that bland stage, this is the stuff you put in there to kick up the flavor. It's all the umami you will ever need in a stock. It is delicious. Use it sparingly because a little goes a long way. Let's talk about these bottles in the back. And these are very versatile. You can use them in any cooking. I just wanted to separate the soy sauces because I use specific types for specific cooking. Now these can go in anything. Okay, so another one you're going to need, say you've tried to make sushi or gimbap at home and your rice didn't quite taste the same. Well, this is why. You didn't have this. Mirin. Mirin is a sweet rice cooking wine. It's delicious. Don't drink the stuff. But when you add it to rice or you sprinkle it over a single bowl dish, it adds just this hint of sweetness that is unexplainable. I don't know how they did it, but it's wonderful. Next is this stuff. Fish sauce. 3 Crab brand. It's not sponsored, but I am pimping this brand because it's the best, in my opinion. A good friend of mine who happens to be Vietnamese, when I was starting to learn a lot of these dishes, let me know, if you want a brand of fish sauce that doesn't taste like feet, get 3 Crab brand. Now, I hate to say it, but I have tried a couple other brands, and they tasted like feet. So it's up to you. Hey, we have different palates. You do you when it comes to your sauce. Next up, we have this, rice vinegar. Now, I don't even know what any of this says on here except the rice vinegar part. And the way I came upon this brand was when there was a particular type of soup I was trying to make and it called for rice vinegar. And when I went to my local Asian market, this bottle was huge and on sale and the other bottles were like that big. And I was like, well, I'll just get that one. And I've used it ever since. So I don't know if it's a good brand or a bad brand. It works for me and the bottle lasts a long time. It's vinegar. It's not going to go bad. I'm not a health expert. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. So yeah, that's rice vinegar. It adds the sourness in a lot of dishes. If you've ever tried to make hot and sour soup at home and you have the hot, you need the sour, and that's where the rice vinegar comes in. Next, you need liquid umami. Oh, this is one of my favorite sauces, but I don't use it a ton because it's a lot of flavor. If I do something like crispy dumplings, or I'll mix it in like gimbap dipping sauce, something like that, or just over rice. Oyster sauce. Yes, it's made from oysters, and it's a process. I have watched many YouTubers who let us in on the process. I would never make it, wouldn't even try. Buy it. I don't know what anything on this bottle says either, but the last time I needed oyster sauce, it was on sale and I bought it and it is delicious. So now it's the brand I buy. I know Lee Kum Kee is the GOAT of all time, and there's lots of brands out there. I know that Panda Express makes a brand of oyster sauce. It's pretty good. I've used it before, but you know what? Source what you have. You know, these brands aren't necessarily what you need to buy. I'm just showing you the types of sauces you might need. And then there's this. Now, I might get some hate for this one, but you know, some ingredients are harder to find than others. When you're doing a lot of Chinese cooking, whether it's braising, creating a stock, a stew, whatever, you're gonna need Shaoxing wine. Well, real Shaoxing wine, it's here, it's available in my city, but it's not in my budget. I might get myself some for my birthday, get a bottle of it for cooking. Like, I need a special occasion to justify the price of that bottle of cooking wine. So I use just generic Chinese cooking wine. Works fine. I'm sure I'm missing out, but I haven't had the real thing to know what I'm missing out on yet. So I'm sure once I finally buy some real Shaoxing wine, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is what I've been missing. I guess I will try the real thing. And just a couple more here. Next, I love this stuff. It's not real. Is it a sauce? Is it a condiment? I don't know. But chili crisp oil or chili oil. I have just plain old chili oil in there, but this covers 2 things because there's oil in here and there's crispy chilies in here as well with some peanuts. This is lao gam ma. Chilies fried in oil. When you see this little person on the front, they literally own the whole market for this. Absolutely love it. If you've made a stew, I've gone back to stews a lot. It's winter, so, you know, I'm eating a lot of soups and stews. But it's also good dipping sauce as well. There's some dishes that call for you to mix it in. If you make a single rice bowl dish, putting this on top, it is so versatile and it works for everything. You need it in your life. Now, I've saved one oil for last because it is the last thing you use when you're cooking. Now, a lot of people don't use this oil right, but I'm going to tell you how to use it today. And that is this one, sesame oil. There's a couple of brands that I love to use. This is one of them. There's another I get. Whichever one's on sale is the one I buy. Sesame oil is a finishing oil. This is not typically an oil you're going to fry your food in. It will lose its flavor very quickly. It's great for marinades on meat. It is really good for mixing into dipping sauces. It's perfect when you're done frying your potatoes or vegetables or meat or whatever, or even your soups and stews, putting this in at the very end. Because if you put it in too soon, the heat will burn off all of its tasty goodness. So you're gonna need to get some sesame oil in your pantry. Now, is this an exhaustive list? By no means. There's many other sauces and flavorings that you can add into your food. These are the basic ones that I know that without them, I couldn't make the majority of dishes I like to eat. So that's why I went with these first. So I hope this isn't an intimidating list and that you will go out and start gathering ingredients so that we can cook together. In future videos, I will do some recipes, some that I've adapted from other YouTubers that I love, and some I've created on my own as I've learned the techniques and the flavors of Eastern cooking. I hope you give them a try because food brings us together. Now, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, so I don't have an outro, but I do hope you will like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you down below in the comments and we can have a chit chat about Asian cuisine.